Hiya. Sitting in the garden, enjoying the sunshine and looking around at the work that you've done, that's very satisfying. The garden runs alongside the road there, and you go through this rather old-fashioned looking gate and into the garden. And I've got this lovely old hut here. It's a substantial concrete building, but even then, the vegetation has found its way in. But it's a good space. Coming down the steps from the hut, this is the garden pretty much as it was when I started. And a lot of what you can see is small blackthorn bushes. There's a barbecue there. And believe it or not, behind the bushes here, there's supposed to be an outside loo. Now the path just kind of disappears into the undergrowth. So obviously there's a lot to do, and there's a heck of a lot of brambles in there, incidentally. And wandering down, you find behind all the undergrowth the hen hut. Now, I knew I had a hen hut. I didn't know that nature had kind of taken it over as a thing of its own. So, work everywhere to be done. Notice the oil drums on the wall of the hen hut there. Now, through this door, there's cobwebs. Massive cobwebs. And actually the floor is also littered with what I'm going to call soil to the depth of about 2 inches. And then I discovered later, actually it's got a concrete floor. So outside, there's this little quarter of the garden, which it's got a rose arch, which would make you think it was going to lead somewhere special. But there's this thing that I have no idea what it is. Any archaeologists out there, take a guess. Sadly, it's too small for a swimming pool. So I'm going to leave this bit more or less till the end. And there's a concrete wall down there, possibly the toilet. Now, I came quickly to realise that I kind of shared the garden. This gorgeous little spiny creature, his brother or sisters about somewhere, were just wandering through the long grass, right, as if they owned the place. And when I just lifted the board, this is the gentleman or lady that I found underneath it. Now, I've got a path back. The blackthorn's gone, and you're beginning to see the shape it takes. And I have to admit, I love doing this sort of work. You actually get a feeling of real achievement when you've cleared a patch. And then, of course, the more you cut, the more you've still got to get rid of. And have a look at that pile of little twigs and things. Right? An awful lot of that blackthorn. Right? So, the little man there speeding it up. Now, I knew I had an apple tree when I bought the place, and to see it in fruit is absolutely lovely. It's still incredibly messy, but I've cleared most of it, and I've got the beginnings of a little bit of a veggie garden there. You actually see the growth of bamboo, and that hedge needs cutting, but the barbecue I've sort of rescued a bit. And at the top end of the garden where the hut is, there's a nice quiet little area there, and I've rescued the hut. And when I say I've rescued it, I mean, it's an incredibly substantial building concrete-wise. Right? But I have cut all of the creepers and things from the outside and cleared the cobwebs and stuff on the inside. And actually, I rather like this space. I've got a coffee machine, wine in the fridge. What more could you ask for? Right. So that will become an office later. There's the house. And at the bottom end of the garden again, we're back in the hen hut, simply because I've actually added to all the rubbish in there with a pile of branches and things which I'm optimistic will be cut up by friends to use on their fire. So this is my first attempt at growing something. And hey presto, a few tomatoes, not much else that actually was edible in the end. And up at this end, besides this lovely apple tree, I've gone and planted this little pear tree there. Hiya. I'm sitting in the garden. There's a distinct feeling of autumn in the air. It's the middle of September, and after a roasting hot August, the weather is noticeably cooler and quite windy today as well. Anyway, I thought I'd reflect on what I learned in those early stages of getting the garden into some sort of order. And there were three things that I learned. One, wear the right gear. Long sleeve shirts, proper good quality gloves, right? And some nice sturdy shoes at the very least. These are the things you need, right? And secondly, that no matter what you do, nature is going to come back and bite you. The amount of little cuts and grazes on my arms from the blackthorn and brambles has been quite incredible. Even just trimming something can cause you to brush against something that will pierce your skin or scratch it or whatever. And we're getting older, the skin's getting thinner. And thirdly, and this one I think is actually quite important, it's not my garden. I share it with an awful lot of other creatures, and some of whom, in the process of doing this, I think I've made homeless. So I need to bear that in mind as I go on. And in later stages, I think you'll see that I'm taking moderate steps to try and live with my other companions in the garden. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. Bye.